Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to Exploring Elite Dangerous. Yes, that was Sagittarius A. I finally arrived. This is Exploring Elite Dangerous episode 34 and we will get to Sagittarius A in just a bit. But first I want to show you the last legs of my journey there. I had at last descended into the centre of the galactic core and was now surrounded by brilliant refracted light. Here there is no longer any blackness of space, and you can travel for many hundreds of light years, probably thousands of light years, and see nothing but these brilliant colours. The core itself, which is an ever-present band wherever you are in the galaxy, is now completely surrounding me. It is always there no matter which way you look. All the stars here are very close together, and you can jump less than a light year in many cases to the next star, and in some cases there are stations in human inhabited space that are further away than some of these stars are. Now this area proved to be a lot more interesting than the previous area. Although previously I did find a lot of black holes, after that it was a lot of nothing until I got within about 500 to 600 light years of Sagittarius A, and then I started to find a lot of water worlds, a lot of high metal content planets, as well as a few Earth-likes. Here is one of the water worlds. A little later on I did find a binary pair of water worlds, and I also found plenty of binary high metallic content planets. All of these are very good value when selling your data to Universal Cartographics and should add significantly to your totals as well as your exploration ranking. Now in the previous episode quite a few of you actually asked why I'd blurred out the system names. Now there's a reason for that. You will be probably well aware that a few episodes back I lost my ship, and although Frontier were kind enough to place my ship back in its previous location, as well as refund me the value of that data, they were unable to give me back that data itself, which means that although I was out here for over 4 months now, I have very little discovered data. Discovered data is where you get your name tag associated with a planet. You've probably seen that when you go to a local system map and you see it says first discovered by, and it gives you the name. Now to get that you have to scan the planet, get back to Universal Cartographics and sell that data. You're then awarded with the discovered by tag. Now previously I've never been too worried about that because I knew I was going to be out here long enough that I would accumulate a lot of data anyway. But since that explosion I haven't got a lot of tags left, or a lot of tags to my name, so when I find interesting places like the black holes in the previous episodes, I like to try and keep them to myself. But I'm not too worried about that for this episode because there's a lot of interesting things I've found since then. And here is that twin pair of high metal content planets. Now one thing I did mention at the end of the previous episode, and I wanted to actually show you this time round, but it's a bit hard to actually show it, is that navigating through the core is very difficult. The game is very slow when it's plotting you a route, to the point that it'll almost soft lock your game. And this is because the game is trying to navigate you through hundreds of stars that are all very close to each other. Generally the route will plot you up to around about 98%, and then the last 2% it can take quarter of an hour, 20 minutes or even half hour or more to actually complete the route. There are a couple of ways around that which I'll talk about in just a moment, but first have a look at how the colours transition from black here when you're near the sun to the refracted light of all the stars within the core. As you accelerate away from the star, as with nebulas, it all starts to fade in, making for some really nice transitions. To get around the navigation issue on the galaxy map, there's two methods I found that actually work. And one is to just plot a single jump at a time around within your jump range, but at the far end of your jump range, so around about 30 to 31 light years in my case. Or the alternative is to plot a 1000 light year jump, but on the final star you need to make sure that there are no stars too close to it. If there's lots of stars close to it, that's when you have the problem with the navigation. So try and jump to the star that's furthest out or furthest away from the neighbours. Here then is another water world. As I mentioned, there was a whole lot of them out here, and this was really a nice find after all the black holes. So then, the core. I'm going to give you a quick glimpse of what it's like. As we rotate around my ship, you can see that the band there is ever present. and that the ambience of space is completely devoid of the blackness. In fact, there's nowhere you can see any black at all. In some ways this is very similar to a nebula, but it's a lot brighter, and the fact that the band wraps right around you makes it altogether different. It's a place that is actually great to chill in when you're using virtual reality, as the absence of blackness makes you feel almost as though you're floating in some type of atmosphere. Yet another water world. I actually lost count of just how many I'd found at this point. Now, I have taken to actually keeping manual notes of some of these because after I lost my previous data, I no longer know where a lot of those locations actually are. And until Frontier give us the location on the galactic map to see areas we previously visited, I guess pen and paper are gonna just have to do it. And there you see my final course from my location to Sagittarius A, which is now around about 300 light years away. I've spent a long time getting out here, probably a fair bit more than many other people, but to be honest, the journey itself so far has been well worth it. It's been quite an experience, and there's a lot of brilliant things to see out here. There doesn't seem to be any nebulas this close to the core, and there may well be a scientific reason for that, or it could be just a case that I haven't managed to see any just yet. So then, here is Sagittarius A, which is nearing my current location. It's my selected destination here at the moment, and you can see it's right in the very centre of the galaxy. Some say it's the very centre around which our galaxy spins. Now what I'm going to do now is show you where it is in relation to Earth. I've just entered in our solar system, and you can see that I'm now 25,000 light years away, closer to 26 actually. So it's quite a trek. On a decent run you can probably do around about 1,000 light years in an hour or so. So even at the best going, I'd say it's at least 25 hours straight run from Earth to Sagittarius A, and that's without stopping to check anything, that's without stopping to explore anything. That is purely a straight run. And now here it is, the final jump to Sagittarius A. This had to be a place I was sure to zero throttle as I come out of warp, because this supermassive black hole is one of the few that does cause heat damage, and arriving here and getting damage would have been far from ideal. So yes, I dropped straight out of warp to have a close look at the black hole. We're sitting here 65 light seconds away from it, so you can tell that this is by far the largest black hole anywhere in the galaxy. In fact, it's so large that in order to see the active gravitational lensing effect, all you have to do is move the camera very slightly. There's only a few locations in the galaxy where you can see the full effect of this lensing. In many places, the blackness of space prevents any notable effect, but here, with all the refracted light from the stars surrounding this system, it very much is a noticeable effect. There is a strange temptation to fly right toward the black hole and see just how close we can get to it, but I do know that here it can cause heat damage, and it's something I want to try and avoid if at all possible. Flying around the edge of the black hole, due to its distance, it's possible to accelerate to many times the speed of light and see an effect it's unlikely you're going to be able to witness anywhere else. Sagittarius A is so large that if it were to occupy our solar system, Mercury, the closest planet to our Sun, would be touching at the very edges of this black hole. Out here, Sagittarius A occupies a system not entirely on its own. There is another star here, nearly equal to size of the black hole, and named Source 2. It is over 100,000 light seconds away from Sagittarius A, so if you wish to take a trip there, it's a fairly significant undertaking. And we can see that Zulu Romeo was the first player to arrive here at the centre of the galaxy, and gained a discovered by tag for both the black hole here as well as the large star nearby. Approaching the star, Source 2, is also an interesting experience as the bright colours from the core around you fade to blackness. And here you find yourself washed in the bright blue light of the star. a stunning contrast to the effect of Sagittarius A, the black hole itself. And very interesting to see these almost opposite ends of the spectrum located within the same system. Getting to Sagittarius A here at the centre of the galactic core has been a journey that has taken me a very long time, and along the way I've discovered some fantastic sights. But this is only the beginning of my journey. Beyond this point is a place where far fewer people have visited, and it's far more likely that I'm going to discover things that no one else has seen before. As I travel through the core now, I'm fully expecting to find nebula, planetary nebula, many more black holes, Earth-likes, and all the other beautiful things that exist in this wonderful galaxy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. The game has been in development for quite a few years now, and was first made accessible to players in December 2013 through its Alpha Access program. Naturally, in that time a lot of things have changed. What I'm looking at here today is one of my favourite visual areas of the game, the ring systems and their asteroids.